Hello, everybody. It's MOS, and I'm here with a special friend, RJ.
Hey,
We're going to go through all the spoilers of Magic the Gathering for the new set, Born of the Gods. It seems okay, but not particularly great, in my opinion, I guess. So, I guess our first one here is the one on the screen that is Acolyte's Reward. I'm going to scroll up to the. We're going to sort of keep track and average out ratings, so at the end, whether or not RJ's still around, I will um, give a little run through of what each color's rating overall is, and to determine what the best color of Magic for the new set is. So, Acolyte's Reward. Prevent the next X damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn, where X is your devotion to white. If damage is prevented this way, Acolyte's Reward deals that much damage to target creature or player. So, what do you think of that?
um, I don't think it's very good. I think there are a lot of situations in which they go like one drop into um ordeal, and then you can never really get white devotion on the board. Um, I don't think I'm not particularly impressed by it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I mean, um, there's a lot of ways like around it. If you like, let's say they do it to one of their creatures, right? And you have to do both targets at the same time. So if you remove their creature, then you take no damage because no damage was prevented.
Yeah,
And at the same time, like, it's just not the kind of thing you want to be playing. Yes, it's a heroic trigger,
it's true.
but it's kind of like a defensive heroic trigger, and that's kind of not what White wants to be doing.
Yeah. I think it's fine out of the sideboard, but main deck I probably wouldn't. I'm probably not too happy about playing that.
Yeah. So the way we're going to rate things is from 0 is absolutely god awful, should never have been printed, and 10 is the best thing since sliced bread, the
Sure.
new Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Okay.
Um, well, what would be like the most horrible Magic card ever printed? So we can just sort of put
Uh,
that as like a 0 to compare.
I don't know. I have no idea what the most horrible Magic card ever printed is. Probably. Jeez, I don't know.
Something
Probably
along
something
the lines of like a
something
1/1 defender for 5.
something of like unglued or something.
Oh, like a 1/1 defender for 5 that has no abilities is exactly what we're talking about for a 0.
Yeah, sure. I think this is like a three. I think there might be like corner case decks that want this, or like it could be sideboard tech if you're depending upon like the cards your opponent is playing. You might just get someone with it, but I don't think it's a very good card.
If you're trying to play a white mid-range deck, and I don't know why you would, this would sort of fit in there a little bit, but
Yeah,
why would you be playing white mid-range? Well, it's white weenie. Come on.
yeah. I mean
So,
that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean I only glanced at the spoilers, but my initial feeling is that White is going to stay really aggressive and just, like play favorite hoplite or phalanx leader into Ordeal of Heliod, and then like that card is just dead.
yes.
Like from both sides of the board, like that card is terrible.
Yes. So, moving on to Acro and Phalanx. This card, I think, well, you should read it, because then, yeah, we'll sort of switch off, I guess.
A Crow and Phalanx. It is a 4 mana Vigilance 3/3 with for 2 in a red. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn.
Team Fire Breathing.
Team Fire Breathing. That's my favorite kind of team. I will pick them for the Super Bowl. Team Fire Breathing.
Yes.
I really like it. I think I think having a mana sink late game is good. I think a 3/3 Vigilance for 4 is not like the worst rate in the world. I especially like that it affects your whole team, so you get to like curve up. You could play the what is it? the 2-drop of Crowin Hoplite or whatever.
Yeah,
You just sort of have this curve where it goes like a Crowin Hoplite into any 3-drop the the uh the Ordiad or whatever, and then a Crone Phalanx, and then you just sort of get there. Like you make blocks for your opponent on. You manage to trade your 2-drop for their like Nemesis Immortals or whatever.
exactly. This is the kind of card that if you're in white, it's an uncommon, and if you start seeing it like later on in a pack, you probably should be in white. It's that kind of card.
Well,
It's the kind of
that's
card where like white is weenie, and this is like the perfect card that will get you there
yeah.
because
It
you will
it
pump
tops your card
twice. You will pump twice, and now your 1/1s are 3/1s, and they're dead, and you win.
exactly. I do think I don't think it's first pick material just because it locks you pretty hard into 2 colors. Like you'd play it in a mono white deck, but you wouldn't be really happy about it. It sort of does nothing without that pump ability. Um, but I think it's a very solid card. I think it's
Yes,
very good.
it puts you in aggro if you see it like pick five, and you
Yeah,
can sort of tell nobody's in there because it's still
definitely,
around.
definitely. And I think having the mana sink is it's very valuable and limited.
So I would
It's
probably
like
put
having
this
something
at
to
like a 5.5 to a 6, given
yeah,
that it's got that use.
yeah, sure, yep.
All right. Next up, we have
Krellin Sky
Akron
God.
Skyguard. It is a 1/1 flying for 2, which is in itself okay. There are definitely 1/1 flyers for 1. But it does have heroic, and it's a heroic +1/+1 counter, so it's actually quite decent. It's like playing the the 2/1 flyer in blue
Sure.
on turn 2. It's like that because you're gonna beef it up. You're gonna throw all those ordeals on it, and it's gonna
Yeah.
get bigger, and then it's gonna get bigger on top of that. So it's a really good card, or not really good card, but it's the kind of thing you're gonna want to be playing in white. I think.
Um, the one thing I would say about it is that I think depending like let's say we'll 2-drop this into Ordeal. I think the 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 2-mana kill thing that has 2 power, the sort of freakish cures and last breaths. I
Yeah,
think those are really good, and this gets hit by those, and you get if you go 2-drop this into Ordeal and then get freakish cured,
that kind of sucks.
they you get 2 for 1.
Yeah,
I think Wingseed Rider is a better card than this card,
definitely
but I
is.
think that this card has massive upside.
Yes, this is the kind of card where, like, if you're playing against, say, I guess it would be green. If you're playing against, like, a green deck
Yeah,
or something like that, you're gonna love this guy. Even if you don't intend to put anything on him for a while, it's a 1/1 thing that's just
yeah,
gonna ping away for a little while. It's not great in that
yeah.
circumstance, but it's fine.
And also, there's there's bestow, there's this, there's that. I mean, if you bestow a hopeful Eidolon on this guy, and then they kill it, it's not the worst thing in the world. Or a spear point Oriad. Like there are a lot of ways to ensure that this isn't a 2 for 1.
Yes.
But I don't think going Crone Skyguard into Ordeal Heliod or whatever Ordeal you're playing is like I don't think that's that strong of a play.
Yep. It's as strong of a play as putting an ordeal on the 2/1 flyer, which most of the
Yeah,
time was amazing. So we'll see. Like
yeah.
your opponent has to have removal because if they don't, they're dead.
No, no, I agree. I think if they don't have removal for it that second, it quickly gets out of hand.
Yeah, because
Um,
like if they had Farukia's Cure, yes, they can kill it. But if they don't and they draw it a turn late, it's already a 3/3.
exactly.
So
I don't think it's bad. I think it's just something to be aware of that holds this card back a little bit is the sheer number of things that are just like deal 2 damage to that, kill that if it
or
has
even
two
one.
or less
Like
power. Yeah.
there's the deal one scry one, which apparently
So
is anti-white.
yeah. I feel like it's not that hard to like. Also, if they like spend that on your Crone Skyguard, you're not like that unhappy about it.
Because that's removal they don't have for whatever, like your
For
the
your
Pegasus thing.
yeah, exactly. Also, how is this guy a human? He has like
Um,
wings coming out the back of him. I don't
well, it
know.
says, "Trust me, when you have earned a god's favor, you'll know." So apparently,
I
when you get
guess so.
wings,
I guess so.
gods have you're in God's favor. So yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he's a 5, middle of the road,
yeah.
maybe a little bit better.
5 is pretty much what he is. He's the kind of
Sure.
thing that you'll want. But I think he'll be fought over a little bit between Weenie and Flyers. So
Mm,
he's a good card. You
yeah,
may not see many of him, even though there are a lot of them in packs because it's common.
he's he's a good card if you're in white, but he's not a reason to play white unless you're just getting signals that like white is open.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
So next up, we have
Type of courage. It's a 3 drop, 1 and 2 white. Creatures you control have first strike. Creatures your opponents control lose first strike and can't have or gain first strike. It is a 2/2 creature, 2/2 enchantment creature
with first strike because when it
with
comes in, it
yeah,
has first strike.
yes, with first strike. All creatures you control have first strike. Do you wanna say words about this? Because I have words I
Yes,
want to
get
say
in
about
my deck.
this.
First pick
Yeah,
material.
exactly. This card is incredible.
The fact that
Um,
it costs 3, that's what makes it so good. Like some of the other ones cost like 6.
yeah,
Like the blue one, I think, flying. That's great, but this one costs 3, and it's going to come down on turn 3, probably.
yeah,
And it's going to make all your dudes amazing.
exactly. Like, like let's say you go 2 drop, 3 drop, and then this guy, and your opponent's just sitting there, and they're like, they kept back blockers for some reason, or like, there's a lot of situations in which this is going to be good, especially with the next card on our list. It's a mythic, but I can dream. It's just giving all your creatures you control first strike, and then having a body that's not a bad rate
It is
is
2,
is
it'll get hit by all the 2 power removal.
yeah,
So either
but
you need to pump him slightly or like have something in reserve, but at the same time it's just he requires removal immediately without fail every time.
well, I wouldn't say immediately. I think there are going to be a lot of cases, especially early in the format, where people go Archetype of Courage, swing, and then their opponent clears blocks, and then they're like kill Archetype of Courage.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing.
But I think there are
Do you
ways to
think
play
this will
around
see
that.
standard play? Because I think it has potential for that.
I think it does too. I think out of the board it's very good. Um, but I'm interested to see it. I could. I think that ability on a 2/2 power or a 2 power 2 toughness guy is very good. I'm interested to see where it goes.
It's the kind of thing where like you could play this and it keeps your aggro going because it allows
Exactly.
you to get through stuff. So
Not that I've ever played White Weenie in my life, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But this guy seems very very good.
having first strike is always good. So
Exactly.
I'd give this guy like a 6.5 if I
Sure.
had to.
Yeah.
Where did I put you? Archetype of Courage. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Alright, next one up we have Brimaz, King of Ereskos. He is a 3/4 for 3, which is
Let's go
immediately
next.
get into my deck with no downside. And he is a legendary creature, Cat Soldier, with Vigilance, even better.
Mhm.
And when he attacks, put a 1/1 Cat Soldier attacking. A note about this is if you are, say, you're attacking an opponent's planeswalker with Brimaz, you can have the cat soldier attack the player because it doesn't have to attack the same thing.
Mhm.
And then whenever Brimaz blocks, put a 1/1 cat soldier creature token with vigilance onto the battlefield, blocking that creature. And these are just like the Geist of Saint Traff tokens. They are not declared as attackers. So anything that triggers with when an opponent declares attackers or something like that, it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
This guy is just amazing.
He's very, very good. In limited, first pick all day. Brimaz, Kivarasco's first pick. Obviously. For constructed, I think he's very, very good as the curve topper to white weenie decks. I think he might be played out of the board in control decks. Unanswered, he just runs away with the game.
He might even make it into my deck.
That said, people are talking about him like he's the next hero Blade Hold and all this. I don't think that's true. He has a couple of things that like hold him back from that. Number one, he's legendary. Number two, there's a lot of removal for this guy in standard.
Yeah, the 4 toughness, though, does make him better than if he had 3 toughness. A
No, I
lot
agree.
better.
I agree. Like he doesn't die to lightning strike, he doesn't die to shock, he doesn't die to magma jet, and that's all very very relevant. He does die to Doomblade. He does die to um Mizu Mortars.
Mizzy Mortars is, I think, the bigger one. I mean, if you're playing black, it's kind of like their choice to kill with what they want, how they want.
Yeah. But that said, I think he's a great card. I think having him be a in effect a 4/5, he attacks and blocks as a 4/5 without giving him 4 power is really interesting because that means he
Well, he
doesn't die
blocks as a
to.
4/5, but he attacks as a 3/4 because you can block the token separately.
I suppose that's true, but regardless, like him not having 4 power is super relevant because he doesn't get killed by Elspeth's ability. But
Because I think what really you're supposed to do is have this guy out like turn 4 or turn 3, and then when turn like 7 or 8 rolls around, you start throwing down your Elspeth, and they work together
yeah,
too well, way too
the
well.
the only thing I would say that would hold him back from constructed, the only thing I could see is turn 3 in a white weenie deck. I think you'd rather, um, especially against the black decks or against like white blue control decks. Like you'd rather just play Spear of Heliod because like into their what's the new -2/-2 card?
The black one where all creatures get -2, -2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you'd rather play Spear of Heliod just because it has residual value after they've verdicted or after they've done that.
yeah.
Um, but that said, he's a great card. He's immediately going to be at least a 2 of in white weenie decks. He's immediately
I
going to
think
be in a
he's like a
bunch of
turn
decks.
4 creature, not a turn 3 creature anyway. Because if anything, you might want to have something like God's Willing or whatever to protect in case of Doomblade or something. If you're playing one of those against one of those decks,
Maybe.
potentially.
I think Boros aggro is going to be very very good.
Yeah, they're gonna
That's
like this.
yeah, because getting to go turn 5 Brimaz into like leave up mana for Boros Charm like void your Supreme Verdict is pretty good.
And then, of course, there's also the fact that they play Perforos, and this guy throws
E-
shocks left and right.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so obviously in limited he's like an 8, a 9, maybe even a 10. He's great. Play him in every white. Like if you open him, take him. play him in every white deck you have.
Play him in any deck. If you can
Well,
at some point throw
well,
enough white into your deck to play him, you play him because he's just stupidly good.
I'm not. I mean, he is too white. Like that's.
He is too white, but it doesn't
Don't play him
matter.
in like four color decks. Like don't be playing like Opaline Unicorns and
In
the
sealed,
what
you could probably do that though. In sealed, that is
maybe
totally possible.
I don't know. I haven't played Sealed
I
with Visaya.
wouldn't, but
Yeah,
I
but
would reconsider one of your other colors though.
yeah, definitely. But I play him. I play him. I look for excuses to play white if I got this guy.
Even in like, well, I guess it's only pack one because if there were like a Born of the Gods triple, even if you got him pack three, you'd try to fit white in somehow because he's
Yeah,
just really good. So yeah, I'd say a 9 straight up.
sure. That seems fine to me.
Regardless. All right. Next we have.
Dawn to Dusk. It's 2 and 2 white. For a sorcery, choose one or both. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand, and or destroy target enchantment.
Let me move over to that side. Damn it, it's not working. I know why. Because I
Um,
went all the way over. I didn't realize it was the end of the row. Oh well. Yeah, Dawn to Dusk. Now I got it. We're good. So yeah, Dawn to Dusk. It looks pretty decent, but it's not for a weenie deck. I don't think. I think it's
mm,
more for like white blue.
yeah, if there's like a white blue sort of control-y card advantage thing out there, then they might want this card.
This goes in either white blue or white black. Um, it's a decent card. Like if you're playing control-y type thing, this is
Well,
not only removal, but it's get your other thing back.
the thing is, like again, I think if you go 2 drop into Ordeal, then this card's just irrelevant. Or if they're like pinging away at you with the Nessian Asp, and then they play like a Leaf Crown Dryad onto it, and then like swing for 7. Like it's not.
It's not an instant. That's the part that's
And
not so good, I
yeah,
guess.
I think that's what makes this card
It's not
not
like something
not
you'd want
even.
immediately, like, but it's something that you might play because you need some more removal.
I could see, depending upon the strength of the enchantment, playing it out of the sideboard. If you pass, let's say a god's what's the enchantment,
Which what does it do?
the one that when something dies you bring it back.
Oh, the Gift of Mortality.
Yeah, if you just really really need a way to get rid of a really good enchantment they have. I mean, you play this, but like it's not very good.
Um, the other side of it is you can also return something. So in a white green deck, it might also be decent. I mean, not that you don't already have tons and tons of enchantment removal already.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, but it's the kind of thing. It's just like that the creature, only slightly worse. The creature that returns target creature enchantment from your yard.
and again, if you're trying to be the aggro deck against a control deck, and you're just trying to like put ordeals onto your things and get in for damage, maybe you want this out of the board just so you could go like ordeal, swing for damage, get ordeal back, swing for more damage. I think this is an interesting sideboard card in certain situations, but never, never, never play this thing main deck.
I don't think. I think it costs too much anyway. Like an aggro deck probably does not want to spend 4 on this.
Exactly, and it's just too much. Like you just get ordealed out of the game. If they play a big creature and they like put an Oriad or a Leaf Crown Dryad or a Nimbus Naiad on it, like they've already gotten in for like 10 damage, and then you're like, kill your 2/2 enchantment. Like it's not
Like and you don't really have any mana left up to follow up on it anyway.
exactly. It's bad. Don't play it.
Unless
Out
you
of
have
this,
to.
uh, no, don't play it.
Unless you have to. I mean, there are certain times where, like, in certain decks, you just can't hit something like a Spear of Heliod.
Well, yeah, but you can play it out of the board,
Yeah, it's a
and
board card
that's what I said.
against something, against, like, a weapon.
Yeah, against or Spear of Heliod against Biden of Thassa. If you pass one of those cards, which I don't know why you would do, but if you pass one of them, then take this in the sideboard for the one matchup where that guy got it.
Unless you're playing green, in which case there are much better enchantment removals.
Yeah.
Much, much better enchantment
But
removals.
also if you're playing white and you pass the Spear of Heliod, I don't know
Something is
what you
wrong
were
with you.
thinking. Um, but again, there are other things to hit, like Biden of Thassa is really good.
Whip of
Hammer of
Erebos.
Bothros, Whip of Erebos, like, and this is just the way to deal with those cards. The gods are really good.
But you can't
Well,
destroy them, so this doesn't
oh,
matter.
that's a destroy not exile, right?
Yep. So if you're facing a weapon and you have nothing else, yeah, you might want to throw this in, but it's not what you're putting in immediately. So
Exactly.
it's 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 like a 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Where is it? Dawn to Dusk. Toss in 3. All right. So the next one up here is Eidolon of Countless Battles. It's a 3 for a 0/0 that gets buffed based on the amount of creatures or enchantments, or creatures and enchantments on the battlefield. So he's 1 and 2 white to cast, or 2 and 2 white for bestow. However, if he's the only guy on the battlefield, he's a 1/1. He is not a 2/2 because he's a creature, not an aura. So he at worst he's a 1/1 or buffing for 2/2 because he's an aura and the creature is a one creature, so that would be +2
Um,
+2. So he's okay. I mean, if you're actually doing a legit white weenie deck, he's going to be stupid.
yeah, like this is one of those cards where when it's good, it's really good, and when it's bad, it's just terrible. Like,
Yes, either you're
but
going to have the deck or you're not, and you're either going to play it or you won't.
I think there are a lot of situations in which you could like see this guy and like no one else is picking him because they're not in that deck, and then you just windmill slam him, and then you win the draft because you just get everything good in the world. You're playing Phalanx Leader, you're playing like Favorite Hoplite, you're playing
You're playing that
Battle.
Brimaz that you did because it's Magical Christmas Land.
Yeah, you're playing Brimaz, and just like you curve out, and then you play Ordeals, and then you play this guy, and they just like take that damage. Like that, this card is very good when it's good. If you're the deck that wants this, you
If
know
you're a
that.
super weenie aggro deck, he's great. If you're not a super weenie aggro deck, he's just okay to terrible.
I mean, a lot of times in limited, it sort of breaks down into
Let's
um,
let's put it this way: if you have 3 dudes on the battlefield, he's fine. At
yeah,
worst, he's a 4/4 for 3, and if he's in a bestow, then it's +5/+5 or +4/+4. No, yeah, +4/+4, and that's totally fine. So um, if you have 3 dudes on board, it's kind of fine. If you have 2 dudes on board, it's just like basic vanilla. So
yeah.
consider that, I guess. You have to be able to keep board presence if you're going to be playing him. Is sort of the simple and short of it.
And I don't think that'll be a problem for a lot of decks. The thing is like if you already have board presence, chances are you win anyway, and this is just a way to win more. I don't think he's. I'm kind of torn about this card because there are situations in which he's really good, and a lot of the time like you just curve up and you're just like 3/3 for 3, and that's great.
With potential to grow, which is also quite nice. So then if you drop, say, two more two drops on turn four, then instead of a 3/3 is now a 5/5. So
Exactly.
it's
Like,
fine, but like if you're gonna do that, then he's not entirely necessary to your strategy. However, if you
yeah.
are a weenie deck, if you are a mostly weenie deck, and you have a bunch of 1/1s, and you throw this guy on like a 1/1, and you turn it sideways, there's gonna be problems for your opponent. That's kind of where he shines. So
Hmm.
that's the deck. If you're playing that deck, you want him. If
Yeah.
you're not playing that deck, you can still pick him up. He'll be okay. He'll be fine, but he's not gonna be spectacular.
Yeah. Uh, 4.5, 5.
I'll say five. I mean, most of the time you'll probably play him as like a 3/3 or so. And
That's my
you're in
guess.
white. You're gonna have a couple enchantments, so
I
he's just average, I
I
think.
think this guy is hard to evaluate though, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a lot better than that.
Yes, it's like White of Precinct 6.
Exactly.
He has the potential to be amazing, and he also has the potential to be absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
So let's see. All right, so this guy's name is Eidolon.
Um.
Eidolon. Where'd you go? There you are. Eidolon, I'll just stick you as a 5, straight up.
Um. Elite skirmisher.
Yeah. Elite Skirmisher.
2 and 1 white for a creature human soldier. He's a 3/1 with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets elite skirmisher, you may tap target creature.
He's a 3/1, and he dies
Hmm?
to like everything for 3.
That's not true. He doesn't die to last breath.
He does not die at last breath, but anything that deals 1 damage makes
Hmm.
him terrible. But, it is a 3/1, and that's okay. And it's white, so
Yeah.
you have to realize that you're going to be living with weenie anything anyway.
Hmm.
The heroic ability is not the best, but it has its circumstances, as I'm sure you can think.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing like where you can punch through if you need to.
Yeah. I mean, going. If you, again, like this is all about curve. Like if you get to like ride up the curve and then you play like the nice thing about him is going turn two thing like random dirtily 2/2, turn two traveling philosopher even, turn three him, turn four bestow hopeful eidolon, tap your only blocker, get in for like 5 lifelink.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Um, and again, it's all about curve. If you have that aggro curve with like hopeful eidolon at like sort of the top end, or like archetype of courage, even, then you probably
Yeah,
want this guy.
you kind of would need an archetype of courage to really get the best out of him, because then he has first strike, which means the one is a lot less of a detriment.
Yeah,
Like they can't just stick like a Sedge Scorpion in front of it and be like, huh.
it's true. Um,
Or even a Hopeful Eidolon, because that's a 1/1.
yeah.
So.
I mean, but I don't think this guy is necessarily terrible. I think you have to have the right deck for him.
Yes, if you're building a white aggro deck where you're picking up your archetypes of courage, and you're picking up like the 1/1
God's willing
flyer,
and
the God's
this and that.
Willings, the all that stuff, and you're sort of going white, maybe white red.
Yeah.
He's the card. He's a card you're definitely going to want one of, maybe two of. I mean, he's
Yeah,
definitely a decent card. It's a 3/1, and with first strike, that's just silly.
exactly.
But if
Or
you're
with
like,
Cavalry
yeah,
Pegasus, give him flying. There are a lot of ways to give him abilities that make him relevant.
yes. But if you are trying to go mid range, he may not be the best to play with.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather have an archetype of courage.
Yes.
I would also probably rather have a Crone Phalanx, but that's just me.
All right. Next up. Oh, actually, we need to rank this guy. So I would give him probably just a just generic 5, I think, because he has
Yeah,
potential, but he kind of requires other cards to be good.
I because we just gave the Eidolon a 5, I'm gonna give him a 4.5 because I
Okay.
think the Eidolon is a lot better than him.
Yeah, the Eidolon definitely has more
Potentially.
potential.
Potentially.
Until we actually play in limited, I will actually really not know how good Eidolon will or will not be.
I like potential.
Potential is amazing,
Yep.
but potential
Yeah.
has lost me many, many, many uh, matches. So
hmm
let's see, where did Elite Skirmisher go? All right. Next up, we have Ifar's Radiance. It is an enchantment for gain life. This is terrible. We'll throw it as a 2 and moving on.
Yep. Um,
Where did it go?
if I were gonna say anything about this, it is that it triggers heroic.
Yeah, it
If
triggers
you
heroic and it
really,
has an
really
ability you're
need,
never, ever, ever gonna use.
basically what's on this card is for 1 mana, you enchant creature, and enchanted creature has get 2 for 1.
Yes,
Um,
that
but
you
if
can
you really,
pay 2 to tap it and gain 3 life while you get 2 for 1. So
yes, if you really, really, really need a heroic enabler, play any other card but this. But if you really need it, sure, play this. I guess.
yep,
Don't play these cards.
it's
It's
meant for
terrible.
black and white.
No,
Um,
it's just terrible.
it's meant for the black white archetype of gain life
Yes,
stuff.
I
But
guess.
but there's no sanguine bond, so it's absolutely even more worse than it possibly could ever be. So
hmm
all right. Next up is yours. It is
Uh,
excoriate.
Excoriate, is that a real word? It's like,
Apparently, I don't know. I have to
okay,
look it up in the dictionary to know what the hell that means.
3 and 1 white. Sorcery, exiles right, tapped creature. Um,
It literally reads, you know that giant thing that hit you last turn? Well, now you can exile it, but
yeah,
that's not
now.
useful, because you just took that damage. So
I mean, there are times where you need to get rid of Nemesis Immortals. You need to get rid of, it's like the worst Divine Verdict. It's like a much, much worse Divine Verdict.
but it's
But,
common, so you might actually see it more.
like, sometimes you just need to kill a dude.
Yep.
And this does.
It
I
does. It reads either 2 for 1 or you just took a ton of damage. It's kind of like the in Return to Ravnica, the I guess it was Gate Crash, the one where you like do -5 to it. It's like that kind of thing after it deals damage. Or
the
like Spear of Heliod's destroy creature that dealt you damage this
Yeah.
turn. It's one of those.
I think there's a much, much better removal in the format, but I mean, if you need to kill creatures, you need to kill creatures, and every deck needs to kill creatures. So I don't know.
Yep, it's common, so you'll see it more than some other removal. So
Yeah,
it's useful, but it's not like premium removal.
it's not.
It's
Yeah,
second tier removal.
if
So,
that. Yeah, sure.
all right.
Um,
So I'd probably give it like a 4,
yeah,
four and a
you'll
half, something
play
like
it.
that. Yeah,
You
you
won't be
play it.
excited about it ever. You'll be happy, but you'll do it.
Yes.
Now on to my favorite card.
Let me move it all the way over because that's the end of a new row.
Okay.
So Fated Retribution. Destroy everything, and if it's your
Yes.
turn, scry 2.
The This does not say destroy everything.
I know. But it says
It
destroy
says
everything relevant.
destroy everything but detention spheres, is what this says to me.
Yes, it does. It also says
Oh,
you get to scry. So you can do this like upkeep, and then you can throw a haste guy and turn it sideways. But that's magical
well,
Christmas land.
yeah, that's a little bit much. That assumes that you flooded out pretty hard. But I mean, if there's like a control deck that plays like hard white, you want this card. Like it's just a board sweeper does just like remove everything in play. It's not.
It's too expensive for standard.
Well, now about that,
It's probably too expensive for standard.
destroying all creatures and planeswalkers. is really powerful. Like just destroying everything that isn't your detention spheres. Really good.
Yes, but it also
Really good.
but it destroys all your planeswalkers too, and it's an instant, and it costs a lot.
I agree.
Let's just say that it costs more than exiling all creatures.
I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if it hit standard. I wouldn't be surprised if there
I
was
wouldn't be surprised if it saw standard either. I just don't think it's going to be a tier 1 style deck that has it. It's kind
there
of my
was
feeling.
LSV was playing for a while, and I think Jensen was also playing for a while. A control deck that only played Elixir of Immortality. Like it had no win cons. It was just like I'm just going to do this all day. And in that style of control deck, Fated Retribution, get there.
If by you mean get there as in frustrate your opponent till they quit, then yes.
Yes, yes, that is exactly what I mean.
Um, if they don't kill you first before you
But
reach 7.
yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot for cards like this.
This is an EDH card. I will just say that right now. Despite your hate of that format, I will just tell you that that's the only place this will really see play.
I don't hate that format. I just don't want to do it.
Because you
But
just don't have a deck.
it's true.
You can go to Walmart, they're like $30.
Get out of here. Wait, what?
The, the
The
the new ones, you can just get one at Walmart for like $30.
No, everyone the Walmart up here all sold out because everyone wanted to buy they all wanted to buy the one with True Name Nemesis in it.
Yeah, I just got whatever one they had. I didn't really care. It was like, hey, I now have a commander deck. I can dick around. So
Well, the one with True Name Nemesis is like going to be $100 over that
yeah,
in like 2 months. It's insane. But yeah, Fated Retribution, it's
it's a
fine.
card. You probably won't play it in limited. It's kind of like playing Supreme Verdict in limited. You kind of didn't
Yeah, like you. uh,
because you have to win eventually, and that means playing creatures. And this comes at 7, so either you're dead already, or I don't know what you've been doing,
It
and you
it's
have
really
creatures out, and it's going to kill you too. So
it's really hard to get any sort of advantage out of cards like these because like you do need to play creatures and you do need to block. It's really hard to grind any sort of advantage out of board supers
you
unlimited.
can. It just requires cards like Aetherling or um, Obsidian or something that's like not around when it goes off.
Yeah.
That's all.
Um I don't
So
know.
it's in limited. It's actually a terrible card, and you
It's
will not
yeah.
play it.
I mean I will,
You
but
will, but I won't.
yeah. Good players won't.
Yes, it's like trying to play Rise of the Dark Realms. It's just no, you don't. It might look fancy, it might do really cool things, but you will never get it off, and if you do, it'll probably harm you more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, what do you think we should give it here? Like a 3
Yeah,
for limited?
3.5.
Yeah, something terrible.
Yep.
All right, Faded Retribution. There you are. Next up, we have Ghostblade Eidolon. It is a 3 for a 1/1 double strike, but it also is a bestow double strike, which is actually that's the good part.
Well,
The
even
gooder
like
part.
yeah, even like not with that, like you just play this on turn three, and then you're like play an enchantment onto it, and they're like, oh, like it's just very good. It's the sort of card that gets out of hand real quick.
Yeah, it requires something. Um, it's better as a bestow because then removal hits it less because a one
Yeah,
one. Um, the double strike is great. It pretends to be a 2/2, but it can be hit by anything that deals 1 damage.
yeah.
So
Um,
that's kind of its downside. Is so it will definitely get hit quite hard by red and black. Like the -2/-2 will just say no, not for you today.
it's but that said, it's the course is very
Yeah,
good.
he's better as bestow than he is by himself. So if you can wait
Yeah,
till
I
turn
can move
till you
that.
have 6 mana, then cast him as bestow with no regrets
Yeah,
essentially. So cast him onto your flyer and make him silly.
yeah. I mean, last format there were a lot of times where you go like, uh, And,
Nice
what's
dirt
what's
bike.
yeah, thanks. It's my cooling fan. My computer's not in the best of shape. Um, but you go turn forward thing, like random 3/3 Nessian Courser or whatever, and then you're just like Nimbus Naiad, Hopeful Eidolon, and get in there. And this card just makes it just make your own Baneslayer Angel, essentially. Like you just
Well, speaking of Baneslayer Angel, we'll get there. There is a card.
is it Baneslayer Angel? Because I've been wanting Baneslayer Angel to be in standard for so long. I would play
There
that
there is
card in a
something
control
there
deck
is
in
something really
heartbeats.
ridiculous later on, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's like one of the last cards we'll get to.
This card's very good.
This card is good. I just feel that it either costs one too much to play it straight up, or it's just counted as an enchantment and not really as a creature. So
It's
in sort of those circumstances, like that's sort of how I see it played.
I think it needs help
It needs
to
help.
be
Without
good,
help, it's
but
on its own, it's not that great.
I think it gets help from like cards that you already want to play. So I don't.
It's sort. This is another card, kind of like the other Eidolon, that I just don't really know how it's gonna shake out.
I think this card is very very good. Like I think this card is going turn three Ghostblade Eidolon into turn four Hopeful Eidolon into turn five Nimbus Naiad or Spiritborn. Like
This is the kind of thing that you stick on the Vulpine Goliath and you laugh at your opponent
well, yeah, that's pretty good too.
because trample and yeah, that's what you want to stick this on.
This I like this card a lot.
I don't like it as much as you do.
Probably not. I'd give it like a 6.5.
I give it like a 4.5 to a 5 because I don't know how it's gonna be. If you have the right creature to put it on, great. If you don't, it's kind of useless. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, yes, it's a 2/2, but I can throw a 2/2 for two. I can throw out a just a vanilla 2/2 and just stick it in front of there, and your guy's useless.
Well, yes, but until you,
Let me put
I
it this way: if I'm going to pay three, I'd rather have a Nessian Courser than this guy.
no way, no
Yes,
way. You'd
yes,
rather
because
this
I
guy.
have a 3/3 and not a 1/1 that dies to everything.
I mean, it's true that it dies to a lot of removal. I'll give you that, but Double Strike is so powerful, and in a set that has as many tricks as uh Theros does, you go Ghostblade Eidolon, swing in. Are they gonna block into your like one open red mana? Like
I understand that. Like, I don't know.
it's
I just don't think it's as good as you're making it out to be. Yes, it's good. Yes, Double Strike is awesome. But if you don't remember, there was another guy. He was red, and he had Double Strike, and he wasn't that good.
well, he also didn't have like
He didn't
bestow,
have Bestow.
like like
Bestow is what makes this guy better.
yeah, no, like I agree. I think the bestow is super relevant. I
In fact,
think
I don't think you want to play him any other way but Bestow if you can at all help it. Because I don't think, like, even whenever I played against a red deck with that, I was just like, whatever. Like, so yeah, so you have a trick. Okay, now we've just one for one. Like, and
yeah.
you're back with a 1/1. You have to trick every single time if you're going to make him relevant. And so, if you're going to bestow him, great. If you're not going to bestow him, he's not very good. That's just my
uh,
feeling, and from what I remember of the Cerberus.
I mean, you probably played with that guy a lot more than I did. I was just like I played a lot of mnemonic walls in my day. Not a lot of like creatures that came down before turn four. I was on like the Return Centaur plan a lot.
I have no idea
Not
how you won as many drafts as you did.
Mnemonic wall is really good. Also, like I played with like very very bad drafters, and then like a couple who were like really really good, but I don't know. Anyway, I like Ghostblade Eidolon.
I like the fact that he's bestow. That's
Sure.
about it.
All right.
Bestow double strike. Should that equate to six? I don't know. If it was five, it would probably be OP. But so it's probably again like a five. I just
We'll
don't think
see.
he's any
We'll see
better.
how it shakes out.
Yeah, Ghostblade.
Anyway, on to the next one. This one's mine. Yeah. No. This one's yours.
Well, I just did the last one because
Okay. Glimpse the Sun God. X and white. For an instant, tap X target creatures. Scry one.
sounds good.
It's interesting. I think I think they're gonna be. I like that it says target creatures and not target creatures your opponent controls. It
Yes.
enables things that we'll be getting to later in the review.
Inspired.
Inspired is one word for it.
You
It's in
can
fact
also pay
the
one
only
and
word
scry
for it.
one if you so wish.
Yeah. Um.
You
I
so
think it starts
it's useful.
good.
Like it's got the ability to be used in multiple ways. You can use it to scry if you really need to. You
Mhm.
can use it to tap your own guys for inspired, and you
Yeah.
can use it. You can use it as heroic triggers on your own guys and to tap your opponent's guys.
Yeah, you could
Um,
use it aggressively, like if you just like need to get in damage, you're just like glimpse the sun god, tap your board, get in for 10.
you
Or
can
you can
use
use
it
it,
defensively, and you can sort of use it
yeah,
rampingly. I don't know. It's kind of a bit odd.
rampingly.
Yes, rampingly. That is using it to trigger your heroics.
Is that an Andrew certified word?
That is an Andrew certified word,
Sure.
rampingly. So you can use it sort of to make your guys bigger
Yeah.
through a mass heroic trigger, like end of their turn mass heroic trigger. Um, you can also use it like if they're about to go smack you, like no.
I think a lot of the way you're gonna see this played is
It's going to be played a lot of ways.
I think it's gonna be played a lot of ways. I think like most commonly it's going to be like make a board. It's gonna be the second or the third God's Willing in your deck, where you just go glimpse the Sun God, tap down all your guys, kill you.
It's the kind of thing where actually you'd use
Or
it. You would use it after you declare attackers before they declare blockers.
yeah,
So what you do is you would, if you have enough mana, like let's say you have your like a flying heroic guy, right?
yeah,
You know which exactly the one I'm talking about.
yes,
And he's already tapped, so you tap him again, but he gains two counters, and you
yeah,
tap their board, and they're like, what? Why? And then you
yeah.
scry one because why not?
Um, I don't know. I don't. It does give heroic triggers. I don't think that's what it's going to be used for. I think it's going to be used to like just like get break the elements considered. This card does that. It
But
just
it does
enables you to alpha
more.
strike.
It does more than that, and I
Well,
think
yes, it
that
does more than that, but
with heroic triggers and inspired stuff, it's totally
you can get really
doable.
cute with it. You
Yes,
can
you can
get
get
really,
really
really
cute
cute with
with
it.
it, and in draft, that's what you do. That's how you win. You get cuter than your opponent.
I'm not sure about that, but sure. There's a lot of stuff that can be done on this card. This card is very, very good. It's deceptively simple.
Yes, you can do a lot more than you think you can with it. So
Yeah, just like
expect to be surprised by this card.
expect to get blown out by this card in the pre-release. Like just like just like in the pre-release, you'll be playing, and it'll be round three, and you'll have a good deck, and then you'll stabilized on board, and your opponent's gonna have like a massive 2/2s, and then you're just gonna go glimpse the sun god, blow you out,
Yep.
and it's just gonna happen.
Unless you are somehow playing white and you do the opposite, where you just say protection from white, and they're like, no, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, but
You have, yeah. This is a good card. Play it if you're
I
white.
I would compare it to Sea God's Revenge.
Yeah, Sea God's Revenge,
It's
but you can pay for how many, so actually it's better than Sea God's Revenge
well,
in a way.
yeah. I think it's
For
different.
alpha striking, it's better.
Yeah, I think it's very good. It's very very good. I think it's a solid seven, 7.5 at least.
Yeah, I will go with 7 on this one. This is a card that you will want.
Yes.
A
This
fairly
is
high
if
pick.
this goes like fourth or fifth, you're in white. Definitely. This card's just too good. I mean, it's never gonna go fourth or fifth, but if it does, um, and on
Next,
to the next one, I
God
think.
Favored General. This is our first inspired card, so we'll get to inspired. It's a 1/1 for 2, which that's terrible. But it has the what's the Return of Ravnica card? It's the white general guy that you make soldiers. Except he's not as good.
Uh, uh, Precinct
Yeah,
Captain.
he's like Precinct Captain except worse.
He's almost like Precinct Captain except terrible.
Yes. So inspired works that whenever the card comes untapped, it does something. So in this case, you can pay two and 1 white, and get a 1/1 soldier enchantment creature token. So it's also an enchantment creature, which is odd.
Mhm. I think
Also,
inspired.
this is one of the I think this is the top 8 for the PTQs for the new season. This picture is in the top 8
Oh, is
PTQ.
it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the
Huh.
picture because it looks pretty
I gotta.
badass.
I'm up to the top eight so I can see.
Yeah.
I
Um,
don't. I don't think there are any more PGEs in the area. I sort of like ditched the one I was gonna go to yesterday because I was just like playing really bad Magic and whatever.
because you're playing mono blue,
I was playing Mono
and
Blue.
nobody likes mono blue.
Mono Blue's a good deck. But anyway, God Favorite General. I have a feeling that Inspired is gonna be a bad mechanic.
Inspired, it'll depends on the card. Entirely depends on the card. There are some red inspired cards that are actually totally worth playing.
Yeah, I'm sure. And again, if you can get like Glimpse the Sun God and like things that you want to play anyway that help you get inspired, that's
This is still not one of the ones you're going to want to inspire
no,
because you do not want to be playing 3 for a 1/1.
no, not at all. This card's terrible.
If
I'm
if
just
you're
using
in
it to.
Dirtle mode, I suppose he could eventually get you the win, but this is still
I don't.
not the card you want.
I don't think. I don't think. I dirtle pretty hard. I don't think. I don't think I would dirtle this hard. But it's I'm just sort of gonna use this to talk about inspired because there's really nothing else to say. Like, don't play this card. It's a 1/1 for 2 that makes you pay 3 mana. Just don't play this card. It's terrible. It's a terrible card.
Yep, you don't want him. It does not even come in with. Oh, it does say 2/1/1, so it's paying 3 for 2 tokens. So that's actually not so bad. But he's a 1/1 for 2, and you have to pay 3 for 2 power. Yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there will be times where he'll be okay, but you're not gonna really want to pick him high. He's the kind of thing where, like, if he's gifted to you towards the end of the game, you might play it to fill slots, but he's like a 25th style card.
He's he's the sort of thing that you're going to see in a draft with your friends, and you're
And
going to pick him first pick, and you're gonna just try to build a deck around him.
he's the kind of card where you're going to
And
absolutely get
so-
ruined by him a couple of times, and you're going to think he's better than he is, but
no,
no.
you're never gonna get absolutely ruined by this guy. It's
You
terrible.
will. There will be a couple of times, I swear, there will definitely be a couple of times where you can't find your removal, and he's just pumping out these dudes, and you're
But
just getting screwed somehow, and he's just the one who's got the job today.
my removal is bears. My removal is just straight bears. Like, turn two play this guy, turn two play Traveling Philosopher, or Sedge Scorpion, or Balefly Eidolon, like, whatever you want to play, and just, like, block trade.
If something's going to screw you, you're like getting mana screwed or something. He's just gonna do stuff,
Yeah,
and you're gonna blame it on him instead of being mana screwed
yeah.
because you you want
But
an excuse.
but back to the inspired mechanic. I
He's
think
bad,
that there are definitely ways that it can be used well.
and this is
Um,
not the card to do it. So
but I
yeah,
think for a lot of them, it's going to be like it's not going to be good. You're gonna have to play other cards that like trigger inspired that you wouldn't play otherwise, and that makes your draws that much worse. I think inspired is a trap in
Unless
a
it
lot of
says
cases.
inspired draw a card, in which case that's
Uh,
totally fine because I like drawing cards.
I think that card is interesting. I'll talk about that when
It
we get to it.
flies, I think, if I
It,
remember right. It flies, and in that circumstance, that's
I don't think it
potentially
flies,
useful.
but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah. All right. So this guy, I'm gonna totally toss up like a three.
Yeah, sure.
Where is this terrible guy?
Let's get to the best card in the set.
Three. Really?
Yeah, two fours for four. So this is Great Heart. He's three and a white. He's a vanilla creature. He's a 2/4. I'm gonna
He's a
play
Pillar
him.
Field Ox, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
play him, and I'm gonna block all your dudes.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's exactly what he does. He
And
costs way too much, but yeah.
I think in this set he's going to be better than Pillowfield Ox was in whatever the last set. But well, Return Sundar was sort of Pillowfield Ox, but I think he's going to be very good
I think that
in
he's
more
okay.
controlling decks.
If he cost one less, he'd actually be better.
Well, yeah, but Pillowfield Ox has never been like a standard playable card. He's just
He's a guy.
the only thing about him is if you play him, and there are going to be decks that like play him, and if you play him as he can't be the first action you have in the game
Yeah, that's because you're
because you
dead.
just get ordealed. Like you can just get ordealed out of the game. And that happened a lot in Theros. You just like play a dude, play an ordeal, swing, trigger ordeal, and then there's dead. Like there's like, oh, that's a 5/5, cool. Like
Yeah, there was actually like it's what happens when you play. You can also do the silly shenanigans where you double ordeal.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, because
I was
the ordeal Perforos, which is deal three.
yeah,
So if you double ordeal that, it's like yeah, you get two counters on it. So maybe you're dealing four. Then the next turn's two more, so you're dealing six. Plus six is 12. So you've already dealt
yeah.
16 damage by
And then
like
they're
turn
like play
four.
this turn 2/4, like it's just bad.
You're
But
dead.
I was playing this draft with this bad blue red deck, and like I went my the kid I was playing went like uh the Prussian Chimera ordeal it up, swing, and then it was like Portent of Betrayal, draw two cards, swing for seven. I was really happy about it.
Yeah,
So that's
I've
the
done
thing you
that.
can do. That's the thing you can do. But yeah, this he's fine, but he can't be like the first thing you do.
Yeah, he's the kind of thing where like you might play him, but you probably won't be too happy.
I think he's fairly good. Like a lot of the cards we've been talking about have been like 3 power or like 2 power.
Yes, four toughness is kind of
Four
like the
toughness
magical
is
thing in
good.
Theros.
Four toughness is very good. Um, Again, there are a lot of tricks in Theros. He's don't expect him to be better than a trick. If you're gonna get a trick out of your opponent's hand, that's what he does. He trades for um whatever trick your opponent has, whether it be
He also does not monstrous,
well, yes, that's true. But
which makes several other four drops slightly better, like the 3/3 four drop with the
oh,
monstrous on it.
the giant,
Yeah, the ill-tempered Cyclops, I think is that one.
yeah, the Cyclops.
Like that's a better card.
Yeah, of course. But like that, they're gonna be. I mean, obviously take Tempered Cyclops, but if you're playing this guy, he's not the worst thing. He's whatever trick your opponent happens to have to get through him. And I think in Theros, eating a trick is not the worst thing in the world.
Yes. So yeah, I think he's okay. I would say like a four because you probably want to play something better
Yes,
if you can at
definitely.
all get
Unless you're
there.
me, and then you're like 2/4 get my deck.
Yeah, and that's why you lose at Theros Draft.
It's true.
Why do you like 2/4 so much?
Um, I don't know. I like to talk about them a lot more than I like to play them. I like them from a game design standpoint because it's just like it's a card that's it's a card that's like good but not very good. Like I like the fact that they exist a
Yes.
lot.
All right. So next up is Griffin Dreamfinder, a 1/4 for 5, which on the surface is horrible, but the backup, it does fly. The backup is that it can return an enchantment from your yard to your hand, which can be nice. It's certainly a better version. It's a creature attached to that other terrible spell we talked about earlier.
Yeah, but it's a 1/4.
It is a 1/4, but it's a 1/4 flyer.
It's a 1/4
It's a 1/4.
fire.
Remember that?
For
Remember the
five
one in
mana.
Theros? The I think it was a 1/4 that you could pump white to block more creatures.
Yeah, that I've
It's like
never.
that. You didn't play that one either.
Yeah. Here's the thing, on the surface his ability looks really good, but like you play him as a 1/4 body and then he blocks like nothing that your opponent does on turn 5, and then you get like Hopeful Eidolon or an Ordeal back from the graveyard and like you put it on him, I guess. It just seemed bad.
There are better 5 cost flyers.
It just seemed really really bad. I'm never gonna play this card. I'm never gonna pick this card. I'm probably gonna get blown out by this card somehow, but I'm never gonna play it.
Yes, it's a terrible card to be playing, but with the potential upside of whatever you're bringing back might actually make up for that.
It it
However, you
it
don't want to
depends
pick it.
on it depends on the strength of other cards. If you have uh, it it's heavily dependent upon the strength of your other cards. Um, I'm never gonna play this. It's just not for me. I'm
How about
I don't
this?
think
If
it's
it said bring back like an enchantment that was -2/-2 to target creature, you might play it because you played that
maybe
stupid wall, and this at least has 1 power.
the Super Bowl is good though because
It also cost 5.
you could return removal spells though.
Yeah, this could return removal enchantments.
Are there any of those?
I think so. Maybe.
There weren't in Theros. If you can return removal enchantments with this card, it's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, but if you can't, or like if you're not returning anything useful with this guy, he's terrible, and he's most of the time going to be terrible. So he's a
And
terrible card.
again, I wouldn't play Mnemonic Wall in every deck I drafted.
Yeah, you played Mnemonic Wall. That was the problem.
I played Mnemonic Wall is good in some decks.
Yeah, but you also wasted a turn playing Mnemonic Wall.
And getting back from removal spells, so you like play Mnemonic Wall, you trump block their guy, and then you kill it.
Yeah, so in other words, you just dirtle a turn, which doesn't really do anything except probably give your opponent more shit to smack you with across the face.
I mean, I agree, but like sometimes you gotta kill big dudes. Anyway, this card is not better than Mnemonic Wall, and Mnemonic Wall isn't even good. I
This
agree.
is like a 3.5.
Sure, yeah.
All right, next up is your card,
Uh,
Hero of Heroes.
Hero of Iroas.
Yeah, it's Eros, but that translates to hero from in Greek,
It,
so it's Hero of Hero.
is it really?
Yeah,
Um,
which is a
he's
terrible choice, Wizards. Just saying.
one in a white for a sweet beard. He's a creature, human soldier. He's a 2/2.
For
Aura
2.
spells you cast for 2. Already very good. Aura spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast, he is heroic. Put a 1/1 counter on Hero of Herois.
Yes.
That's
So
that's incredible.
he is a bear with multiple upside.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good upside.
What's good about this card is like, well, obviously everything about this card is good, but the icing on the cake, so to speak, is that bestow. When you cast the bestow creature, it's an aura spell.
Yep.
So like it costs 1 less. So like, get ready for Hero of Herois into like 3-drop Hopeful Eidolon.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying.
And
Like,
and
it's,
so he's basically at that point a 4/4 lifelink
yeah,
on
on
turn
like on turn
3.
3. Like,
That is Magical Christmas Land, but totally doable in a white deck.
no, yeah,
So
like this card is incredible. This card might even be standard playable. Like
yeah,
there was
it's
like
it does not say legendary.
it's not legendary. That's true. I think there are diminishing returns. So the more of these you have in your deck, or the more of these on the field, like there aren't a lot of enchantments um that like
If
this helps
there's
out
if there's
too
ever
much in
going to be
constructed.
a bestow heroic deck,
This guy's
this
in it.
guy is the star of it.
Someone was playing a green white sort of deck with heroic last standard. Like there was standard.
Yeah.
He was playing like I don't remember the exact list, but he was playing like
In block, I know people
heroic
don't really give a
cards.
shit about block, but in block he's going to be an all-star.
Yeah,
So if anybody who is listening to this, which I'm sure nobody important will, but if
hey,
anybody important who is ending up going to the Journey into Nyx block pro tour, hey, this guy.
yeah, this guy's really good, really really good. I think he'll be played in standard. That's my guess.
I would assume he would be played in standard, yeah,
Yep.
because he has
Um,
really good potential, and things with
seven
potential tend to be broken.
7.5.
Yeah. I Let's see. We gave Glimpse the Sun God 7, so yeah,
That's true.
7.
7 it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I think
He's
it's
great. He's a first pickable card.
definitely,
Hero
definitely.
Fields.
Um, Hold at Bay is 1 mana. Or no, this
2
this
mana.
is yours. This is
Yeah,
yours.
Hold at Bay is a 2 mana prevent the next 7 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. So, yes, it can do heroic. Yes, it can
Mm,
save a dude, but
but it doesn't actually target the creature.
it does say dealt to target creature.
But it doesn't target the creature. It just says prevent the next one damage that would be dealt to. Oh yeah, 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 you're
It
right. I'm
does
sorry.
target a creature.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, I'm dumb. But don't play this card. It's 1 mana more for like a bad fog.
Yeah.
This
Eh,
card's terrible.
Well, it's slightly better than Fog.
Well,
Because Fog actually does nothing. Like, literally, Fog just says do nothing.
yeah,
Although there were Fog decks, so what am I saying?
yeah.
Turbo
Some
Fog,
decks,
that's a
some
strategy.
decks do nothing.
Yeah, and this is a do nothing card, so if you want to do nothing, here's your card.
Yeah. Well,
It's kind of like the Heroes Reunion in Return to Ravnica, gain 7 life.
yeah,
Pay
it's
2, gain
exactly
7
like that.
life. Okay.
Slightly better than that card. That's what we can say about this card.
Yeah, it can potentially give heroic. That's all it is better.
Yep.
It
Don't
is
play it.
actually a battle trick.
2.
It can technically save your guy, but yeah,
Oh,
it's a
it
bit too.
is.
It is a battle trick.
That's
It
interesting.
can save your guy at the cost of their guy, but it's definitely a 1-for-1.
Well, I never.
It's
I
either it's either this for one of their tricks, like they've done a trick and you're like no,
Well, you can potentially get 2 for 1 out of this card.
yes.
This card's not as bad as I thought.
It's not as bad, but still pretty shitty.
I'm interested. I think this card is not terrible. Not
I
as
think
terrible
this
as I
card this
originally
card will
thought.
blow you out a couple of times, and you're gonna think it's pretty good, but it's probably not. Like the times where it's useful and the times where it's not useful are skewed towards the not useful.
Being able to trigger heroic and um prevent damage on your guy is pretty powerful. It's
Do you want to pay 2 to do your heroic trigger? No, I'd rather do that enchantment that costs 1 and lets you gain life.
no, I agree, but um,
It's like
I
a
think
3.
it has potential. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay, we'll go in the middle
I
at
think
3.5 then.
I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting card. Sure, 3.5, fine.
All right. Next up, I've got a Loyal Pegasus, which is a 1 for a 1/2 that cannot attack or block alone.
2-1,
2/1.
2-1 flyer.
Yeah, 2/1 flyer. So I was looking at this when I was looking at the set, and I was thinking about it. And let's see. So you play this turn 1, right? Then
Yeah.
something you play on turn 2. You can't attack with it until turn 3 anyway. So it's and you have to attack or block with it with somebody else. So you need to have 2 cards on the battlefield for this to even work.
Yeah.
However, it's a 2/1 for 1.
Hmm.
So if you're like blue white, you can drop this guy, and then you can drop the other 2/1 flyer, and you can swing at them on turn 3, which is fine. But
Would you
like
ever play that? You remember the fairy from Return to Ravnica?
the one where you bounce a dude,
Yeah.
yeah, because there were some Enter the Battlefield effects that were useful for that.
I think
Because that was the kind of thing where you'd bounce like your Azorius Justicar, and then
I
play it
think
again.
this is similar to that card for me. Like, are you ever gonna play it just as a curve thing? Maybe, probably not. Like, attacking for 2 in the air on turn 3 is like it's not that great.
It's kind of what you can do with other creatures.
Yeah, like it's not. You gotta jump through so many hoops to make this card do anything. I'm not gonna play it.
It's not as good as the Gate Crash guy that was a 3/3.
Which one's that?
The one where the red card.
Red card 3/3.
Yeah, and even that wasn't even terribly playable. Like it was a
Oh,
3/3
Mock
for 3.
Punches.
Yeah,
That wasn't Gatecrash.
yeah, the
But
Gate Crash one, the one where you had to attack, couldn't attack or block without
I
anything
was
else.
pretty sure that was like M13 or something.
It was a reprint. Gate
Maybe it
Crash
was.
reprint.
Whatever. Yeah, this card's whatever. I
This
don't
this
like.
card is marginal.
Yeah, marginal at best.
It's a dude. If you need
Um,
dudes, there are better ones.
but if you can go turn 1 Loyal Pegasus, turn 2 Phalanx Leader, turn 3 a thing, like if that's just a curve that you can have,
If you're going to be
more power to
curving
you.
and if you're going to be curving and you're going to be attacking and you're aggro and you know you're aggro and you know there's no other strategy for your deck, he's a decent pick in your deck because he flies and he has evasion and
Yeah.
that's totally fine. And
I mean,
and he's overpowered for his everything.
and also going turn 1 Loyal Pegasus into turn 2 Vaporkin isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst card, but I'm not. It feels like you have to jump through a lot of hoops to make this card anywhere near playable.
Yep. Either you're a full aggro deck or you're not playing this.
Yep, done.
Uh,
3.
yep. No, I say 3.5 because we gave Hold It Bay a 3.5.
Polar Bay is potentially better than this card. Uh,
Potentially.
I think it's one of those cards that's like hidden behind all like I think Hold the Bay is one of those cards that like hidden behind all that text is something potentially very powerful.
All right. So next up, you have a.
Mortal's Ardor, 1 white for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink until end of turn.
So remember that prevent 7 damage. Well, here's a better one. Here's a better card.
Yeah. Um.
I don't care about the lifelink. I care about the target creature and the +1/+1.
Yeah. I think it's not as good as Godzillion, but it's damn close.
It's a good card.
Yeah,
You will pick this
definitely.
up, and you will
You'll
play
pick.
this over that other terrible prevent
Yeah.
7.
I mean, I think this is the thing about Mortal's Ardor versus Hold It Bay voids any tricks they might have, whereas Mortal's Ardor doesn't.
Yes, it depends on the relative power and toughness of each creature.
Which is why I think Hold It Bay is it's not a better card by any means. Like play this over Hold It Bay. I think Hold It Bay is potentially powerful. But Mortal Order, that's the last time I'm gonna go back to it. I promise. Uh, Mortal Order is very good. Um, in the heroic deck, you just want these all day. But again, there's a lot of stuff that can blow you out. You can get blown out by Voyage's End, by Grip Tide, by a lot of stuff with this card. But that's true of every trick in every set in the world.
Yes,
So
while there are better tricks like +3/+1
eh,
for one red.
plus one lifelink is very good.
+1/+1 lifelink is good. It's probably the easiest way of getting lifelink if you really need to not die.
And I like there's one mana too, and you can just like play the you could play this, you could leave mana up for other tricks, you could play this and Titan Strength and God's Willing and just like
Let me give you this scenario. You will Alpha Strike. They will do this, and then they will strike back, and you will lose. That will happen a couple of times in this draft format
I mean
because
that's
you will have
basically
enough to
Fog.
kill them, and then they will gain enough life not to die, and then they will swing back with enough creatures to kill you because you Alpha Striked, and that's gonna happen.
I think there are more powerful things you can do with this card.
Well, I was
Um,
kind of referencing the lifelink at that point.
well, yeah, but I mean what you just described is what Fog does.
Yes, that's what Fog does also.
But
So
like
so you can have this be a Fog and a heroic trigger at the same time.
I think this is better. This is a lot better than Fog. Um,
If it said target creature Fog, you
yeah,
yeah.
it's much it's you can devise a lot of situations in which this card is incredible.
Yes.
Um,
Do I say it's the best trick? No, it's not.
it's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'll give
It's
it a
usable.
5, 4.5 to 5.
Five.
You
It's just
can
it's just
better
a
than that.
basic. It's a basic trick. It's not like the
Yeah,
best trick in the world. It's
it's
not the
something you're
worst
gonna
trick.
in the early weeks of the draft format. You're gonna get blown out by this card, and then you're gonna like play around it, and it's not gonna be a big deal. But it's still gonna be played, and still gonna be good.
Yes. All right. So going on to mine, which is Nyxborn Shieldmate. It is a 1 for a 1/2, just vanilla, but it has Bestow of 3.
Mm,
This is a totally fine creature. I mean,
yeah,
it's basically it exceeds the vanilla test,
well, the
and it
vanilla
has Bestow.
says, well, I think bestowing this creature is all you want to do.
Yes, this is what you want to do.
Um, it's fine. It's gonna fill a hole that needs to be filled in some decks.
This is one of those cards where when you have the hero of heroes, you're going to be playing him a lot.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be played in a lot of white decks anyway. I don't think he's particularly powerful, but he's not the worst card.
He's a creature. He has Bestow, and the Bestow is cheap.
Sure. 4.5.
Yeah, and he actually I would say more. I'd say 5. I think he's actually a little better than you think. Also,
Maybe.
he's one of the cycle of Nyxborn. So we'll get to the
Yes.
others.
Yep. Um. So
I'm saying
yeah,
5 potentially.
4.5 to 5. Sure. Oresco Stun Guide is 1 and a white for a creature. Um. For a 2/2 creature, which is already fine. It's a bear.
It's a bear
Um.
with gain 2 life.
Inspired. When Oresco Sun God becomes untapped, you gain 2 life.
Bear with
Basically,
upside.
it's not really an upside. It's a
It's
bear.
it's it's incidental life gain with a bear, and I'm okay with that.
It's not.
It's incidental life gain with a bear because
Uh,
if you're in a white aggro deck, you're going to turn him sideways. Even if they can't kill it, like even if they have a
yeah,
blocker, like let's say they had a 1/3 and you knew and they were all tapped out, you'd attack with it just because you knew you could gain 2 life and you just gained 1 life over what they swung back with the 1/3.
yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible card, but it's a bear.
It's a bear. You'll
Uh,
you'll play it over the traveling philosopher because it is strictly
sure.
better.
But Traveling Philosopher wasn't played in a lot of decks anyway. Like the card's fine, but
If you were
eh,
aiming for the hyper aggro deck, it's a piece.
yeah, it's a necessary piece of the puzzle, sure.
So
But
I just think a 5, straight up, just general
yeah, sure,
decent card. Doesn't have
sure.
bestow. If it had bestow, it'd be much better.
Yeah.
All right, I have Ornitharch, which is our first tribute.
I don't even think it's a word.
Ornitharch, which Orna meaning bird, and then Thar, no idea what that is. Um, it's an
It's like an
Archon.
Archon, yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. It's a bird Archon. There we
Yeah.
go. We've deconstructed it. So
Yep.
it is a 5 cost 3/3 with tribute 2. Oh, it has flying. Forgot that. It flies.
Yeah.
Tribute 2. This is our first time with tribute. When you play a creature with tribute, any opponent, so if you're in a multiplayer game, any opponent may choose sort of in the order, like the person to your left will choose, and then going on around whether or not to tribute to. And if any opponent does, then it comes in with two
No,
plus one
no,
plus one counters on it.
it's an opponent of
Oh,
your
opponent of
choice.
my choice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could just choose a guy, and they have to choose whether or not to put two plus one counters on it. So either it'll come in as a 5/5 flyer for 5, which is pretty nice, or it will come in as a 3/3 flyer for 5 with two 1/1 bird tokens also. So either you're paying for 5 power in 3 creatures or paying for 5 power in 1 creature.
They're probably gonna let it come into the battlefield as a 3/3 with two 1/1s.
Yeah, probably.
Most of the time, like
Unless
90% of the time.
unless they have a kill spell in hand, in which case they're just going to make it easier on themselves.
Yeah. But the card's a 3/3 flyer for 5, that's fine. It's better than that, sort of, which is, if they're not playing flyers, it's good. I'll give it a 5.5.
Yeah, that's about right.
Not much else to say about it.
It's good, but not terribly
Play
great.
play it in limited if you got it,
Yep,
and you're playing white. Sure.
yep. Next up, you have.
My sort of card. Plead for guidance. 5 and a white for sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 enchantment cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Don't play this card. This card's terrible.
Yep.
Um,
However, there is one outside circumstance where you will play this card. That is, if you are playing something where you need to go search for some bomb, and this is your way to find your bomb.
no, don't do that. It's 6 mana. It doesn't affect the board. It's terrible. Don't play it. I don't care if you have a bomb. I don't care what you have. Just don't discard that.
There are better
This
six
card's
cost cards.
You know what's better than this card? Literally any creature. Like I don't care if you have a bomb, just like play literally any creature, and it will be better than this card. Um,
Yeah. In fact, I think one of the next ones we're going to get to is just strictly better than this.
most cards are strictly better than this.
Well, I mean, it does
Um,
like a very similar thing.
the only thing there's a deck in Legacy. Um, is that what I'm thinking of? So,
I don't play Legacy. I wouldn't have any idea.
there's a deck in Legacy called Omnitel, which maybe wants this card. Like it does tutor for omniscience. I'm not actually sure what the deck does, but
Omni what?
the Omnitel, it's dumb. I'm kidding. I don't think this card's gonna be played. I think it'll be played in EDH. I think this
Yes, this is an
is
EDH card.
an EDH card
Oh, and
entirely.
I like how it's in German. The note. Auftheros.
Oh yeah, Theros. That's awesome. So next card, card gets a one.
This is for me. Oh,
It's
the yeah.
one.
You're
Yeah.
giving that a 1?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Next up, we have Revoke Existence. It's a exile target artifact or enchantment. Hey, if you really need to deal an enchantment, it's a sorcery, but this actually does something against gods.
Yeah, this is gonna be
As you
playing
can tell by the
standard.
giant picture on it, it's
Yeah,
just
that
like
that's
striking down
that's
Xenagos or
sweet
something.
art. that is some sweet art right there. But yeah, this is gonna see playing standard.
Yep.
It's um
If it cost one more and was an instant, I'd probably like it more.
well, if it cost one more and was an instant, it would probably still see playing standard, but it wouldn't be as good. Um,
Yeah, well, in limited, I'd like it more because I like
yeah,
instants. Because
yeah. In limited, you want instants over sorceries, even if they cost one more. But even as a sorcery, like a 2 mana sorcery, like this is good.
this hits all the weapons, this hits all the gods, and white didn't really have anything for that.
Yeah, yep.
So, like,
I
this is the
like it.
kind of thing. Like, currently in my deck, I'm playing the the charm, right? The
Okay,
which destroys stuff, right? I don't actually have an exile enchant. I cannot deal with gods at all. So
this does it.
this is a better, potentially better card
This
than.
is going straight into blue white sideboards, maybe even main deck. There are a lot of artifacts and enchantments you want to hit.
Yep,
Um, it's very good.
I like it.
In limited, probably 4.5, maybe even 5. I mean, it's I don't know. It's the effect is probably necessary in a lot of limited decks. Especially in this set.
Yep. Just looking for where revoke existence ran off to.
I would go 5.
Yeah, it's about like you'll take it. You'll probably play it.
Yeah,
If you're playing white and you're not playing like blue or green or red, I guess. So
yeah.
yeah, if you're playing white black, you want this card in limited because it is your way to kill enchantments. And you know what Theros is? It's all enchantments.
Yep.
All right. I think you're up next.
Oh, I am Honkai. Where'd it go? Silent Sentinel, 5 and 2 white for a 4/6 flyer. Whenever Silent Sentinel attacks, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
This is the first of the pre-release cards.
It's a little bit expensive.
It's one too expensive.
It maybe not in sealed. In sealed it could be very good.
It's still one too expensive. Like when did you really get to play a 7 drop?
When did I? Or
Yeah.
when do normal people?
When
Um,
like how often would you really play a 7 drop or actually get to cast it?
it's true, but its effect is very, very powerful.
Yeah, you play this late game, you probably win, but
Yeah,
most of the time he's going to be a dead card in your hand. You're never going to get to 7, and the game's going to be over before that. So
yeah.
hard
I
hard choice. I don't think he's as good as some of the other pre-release cards. So
I've no idea what previous cards are.
well, here's the first one. So now you know.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him 5.5, maybe even a 6. He's really good. The effect of returning
I will not
target.
first pick this card. I don't care.
He's better than the 7 drop remove all creatures.
Yes, but I still
I
will
think
not
it's,
first pick this.
I might.
You will not make me.
I won't make you. But
There will be
I
a common that's better than this that I will pick over it.
yeah, you're probably right. But it's very, very good. The effect is very, very powerful. The body is relevant. I don't know. It's
I think it's
yeah,
a 4.5 because it's just
it's
too.
overcosted, but it's if you want to play like that dirtily control game, all game, and just like play this guy as the top of your curve, then that's what you want to do. And as that is he's insane.
Yes,
Like
if you're playing blue-white control, then yes, you can do that.
yeah, if you're playing like dirtle slam,
Hey, I remember those decks.
this guy's
It's like
what you
all I
want
ever
to do.
played.
Yeah, you and me both.
Except that I would really, really, really prefer Prognostic Sphinx over this guy.
Well, yeah,
Because
but
Prognostic Sphinx is a legit thing to throw out there.
yeah, I would prefer prognostic things or Metal Mighty Ageless, but
I
like
never got to play with him.
he's really good. But if you don't get those cards, this guy's good.
Yeah.
in the system.
gain turns. I'll take another one.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, he's fun. Um, but
Next
the
one is
one,
mine. This is Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think this is the last card.
no, there are two more.
We have two more.
Yeah.
Okay, well this one and one more then, right?
No,
Vanguard of Brimaz.
we have two more
Oh,
after this card.
what am I missing here?
Just go. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I might accidentally like.
Sunbond.
Um, Let me see. Do I have Sunbond? No, I think Sunbond ran away in my little list here.
Whatever.
Whatever. Anyway, so it's Spirit of the Labyrinth. It's a 3/1 for 2. This is like a standard aimed card. It's a 3/1 for 2, which is okay in itself, like remember the last one we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Each player can't draw more than one card each turn.
Um,
This is an anti-blue card.
yeah, in limited it's fine. For constructed, this card is insane. This card is absolutely insane. It's gonna be played in modern. It's gonna be played in legacy. Get a four of this card while you can. Card is so good.
And it's the problem with it is it's going to be worth money and it's going to be absolutely useless in almost useless in limited. So it's one of those cards.
Yeah,
It's like Swan Song will eventually be really really useless in limited, and eventually
but
worth like
but
$5.
in older formats, this card isn't quite like they go brainstorm. You're like Aether Violin, my Spirit of the Labyrinth, and they're like, oh my, and then they just die. It's so good. But yeah, unlimited. It's not. I mean, it is first pickable because it's going to be so much money,
Yes,
but not not for limited. It's not. It's not
it's not a limited card.
first pick. Draw you into white. It's not that.
It's first pick. Now what's available?
It's first pick. Cool. I made my money back for this draft and the next one.
Yes. Well, not that much money.
Oh yeah, those cards.
It's just a rare. Let me remind you that the most it's going to be is like $30.
It's gonna be played in Legacy though.
Yes, I get that. It's going to be $30. It's going to drop to like 10 to 15, and then after the set rotates, it'll go back up.
Yep,
And
I
then you're going
agree.
to want to have them then.
Yeah.
So, as with all rares, or most rares anyway, this is the kind of one where you're going to want to hold it for like a couple of weeks until people start breaking the format with it. That is Legacy. And then you want to sell it. And then you're going to want to buy them again in like a year and a half.
Yep. Um. Yeah, it's about
Something like
right.
that.
It's a five, maybe even a 4.5.
It's a
It's
four and
not.
a half. It's not a good limited card.
Yeah, it's not that great.
Next up, we have Sunbond, and I don't know why this is not in my list here, but I'll have to toss that out into my list.
Sun Bond, three and white for an enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. Um,
This
Card's
is
not
the
good.
kind of card where that other enchantment, tap to gain life, becomes fun.
It's going to be fun in that deck. But the card is bad.
Yes.
Card is open deal for 2 for 1s. It costs 4 mana. So you can't really do anything else the turn you play this card. Card's bad. If you have like the life gain deck, you'll want this card, but it's not good.
Yep.
On to the next one. This card's a 3, I guess.
It's, yeah, something like that.
Um, this is yours.
Alright, next card is Vanguard of Brimaz. We're almost in blue. It is 2 white for a 2/2,
Yep.
which is slightly worse than a usual bear, because it's double.
Yeah.
Has Vigilance, so that kind
Mhm.
of makes up for it.
Yep.
And it's got Heroic Cat Soldiers.
This
So,
card's interesting.
yes, it's interesting. It's a 2/2 Vigilance Bear, which is okay. I like that. It's not horrible.
So
The
what I'm
Heroic,
gonna
however, it's going to be just like the Acroan guy.
yeah, but like that guy wasn't like great.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This
Like,
guy has more power and toughness,
but he's
but
still not that great.
no.
Like, unless of course, fair to mention that you get the dream opening where you open Archetype of Courage into like Spear of Heliod. In that
Yes.
deck, he's insane.
Now he's a 3/3 first strike,
Yeah,
which is fine, but no, he's not great.
yeah, no, no, like no. The
He's
card,
like a 5. His
yeah,
his his benefit isn't a benefit.
you're gonna play him sometimes when you don't have bears,
Well, you're going to
and
play him as a bear, and you're going to forget that he has heroic, because...
and you're gonna feel sad about it. He's a 4.5.
No, I think he's a 5. I mean, he's got the extra vigilance for the extra white, instead of... It's a 2/2 for 2 with vigilance.
I'd rather just have a bear. Like, I don't ever want my bears to, like.
If
My
you're
bears
mono
are
white,
either, like, attacking or they're blocking. Like, I don't necessarily care about, like, yay, I can attack and then block.
if you're in mono white, he's slightly better, and if you're not in mono white, he's slightly worse.
Well, the thing is, like, when is vigilance ever going to matter on this guy? You know, like, you swing in for two. Like, are you going to swing through, like, their huge, gigantic blocker? Like, no, you're going to leave him back to block.
Well, if you're going against somebody who, like you, loves playing walls, right? And you
Yeah.
have two dudes, so you swing with both of them, and he gets blocked. The one guy gets blocked, and this guy doesn't, and he gets in for 2, and he's still there if like they throw down a haste guy, and you need to block.
Yeah, that's a corner case. This
Yep,
guy,
it's a corner case.
vigilance is not.
He's just treat him as a bear, and he
Yeah,
costs like a little worse than normal bears. So I guess you're right, probably 4.5.
yeah. On to blue.